All right, let's dive into what looks like just another big business deal. But trust me, it's so much more than that. This isn't just about a bunch of cash changing hands. This is a story that basically spells out the entire future of the car. And more importantly, who's going to be in control of it.
Okay, so picture this. On one side, you've got this old-school automotive giant, ZF Friedrichshafen, and they are under a ton of pressure. And on the other side, a rising tech powerhouse Harman, backed by the unbelievable resources of Samsung. The deal that went down between them, yeah, it's about way more than just nuts and bolts. It's really about the soul of the cars we're all going to be driving tomorrow. All right, first things first. Let's break down the basics of this billion-dollar handshake. Who sold what, and who's the one writing the check. So the company selling is ZF Friedrichshafen. They're a huge German supplier. You've definitely seen their work in cars from brands like BMW and Volkswagen. Think transmissions, chassis, that kind of stuff. Now the buyer is Harman International. They're a big US name in in-car electronics and audio systems, and you definitely know their brands like JBL or Bang & Olufsen. But here's the real kicker. Harman is owned by the tech giant Samsung. That's a huge piece of this puzzle.
And the price tag for all this? A cool 1.5 billion euros. And that's for a very specific, and I mean very important piece of ZF's business. So you can see this is not just some minor transaction. This is a massive strategic play.
So, for all that cash, what did Harman actually get? Well, they basically bought the car's eyes and ears. I'm talking about the smart cameras that see the road, the radar tech that senses everything around you, and all the complex software that ties it all together. This is the core technology for everything from the adaptive cruise control you might have in your car right now, all the way to the fully self-driving cars of the future. Oh, and by the way, about 3,750 employees are expected to pack their bags and move over too.
Okay, so you have to be asking, why on earth would ZF sell off a division that's so obviously tied to the future? Well, the truth is, this wasn't really a choice. It was a retreat, a necessary one, driven by some pretty immense financial pressure.
And this is where you really start to see the scale of the problem. ZF was sitting on a mountain of debt, nearly 11 billion euros. A lot of that came from big acquisitions they made in the past. I mean, that is a staggering number that just hangs over every single decision the company has to make. And that debt? It has a very real and very painful price tag. We're talking over 700 million euros every single year, just in interest payments. Just think about that for a second. That's cash that they can't invest in R&D, can't use for new products, and can't use to compete with these super fast tech rivals. It's a financial anchor, just dragging them down.
You don't have to take my word for it. ZF's new CEO, Matthias Miedreich, he laid it out plain and simple. He said, and I quote, "Deleveraging is a priority. For that we need cash flow." I mean, it doesn't get much clearer than that, right? Paying down debt was job number one.
So at the end of the day, this deal lets ZF carve off a huge chunk of that debt and refocus its money and energy on what it's always done best, its core business in chassis, powertrains, and all that heavy-duty commercial vehicle tech. It's a classic case of, well, selling a limb to save the body.
Okay, so let's flip the script. Let's look at this from the buyer's side of the table. Because while ZF was being forced to retreat, Harman was launching a major strategic advance, and they saw a golden opportunity.
So, like we said, Harman's a big deal in car audio and infotainment systems. But the real story here, the part you can't forget, is who owns them. Samsung. And that means Harman has the backing of one of the biggest, most ambitious tech companies on the entire planet.
So why are Samsung and Harman so fired up about this? Well, it's because they're not just buying a business unit. They are buying a ticket to a market that is about to absolutely explode. Projections show the market for these driver assistance systems is going to triple in size to over 100 billion euros by 2035. I mean, that is a massive wave, and they want to be riding it.
For Samsung, you have to see this as a chess move on a global scale. The company relies so heavily on the smartphone and memory chip markets, which can be super volatile, right? This acquisition is a brilliant way for them to diversify their business and plant a flag, a big one, right in the middle of the automotive electronics space, a sector that's just getting more and more important every single day.
So you've got one company that was pretty much forced to sell and another one that was just champing at the bit to buy. Which brings up a great question. Can a deal like this really be a win-win? Let's take a look at how one company's massive problem became another's perfect opportunity.
So how does this all shake out for each company? Well, for ZF, the wins are immediate and absolutely critical. They get to slash that crushing debt, they can refocus on their core strengths,
and they get some much-needed financial breathing room. And for Harman, the gains are all about the future. They get instant leadership in the ADAS market, they get their hands on essential technology, and they bring on a whole talented workforce ready to hit the ground running from day one. And hey, it's not just us saying it. Industry experts totally agree. Ferdinand Dudenhofer, he's a really respected analyst, called it exactly that, a win-win deal for both. It's one of those rare moments in business where both sides really do walk away with exactly what they needed most.
Okay, so we've torn this deal apart piece by piece, but what does a transaction between two parts suppliers really mean for you, for the future of driving, and for the car that's going to be sitting in your driveway in a few years?
When you boil it all down, this deal is the perfect symptom of the single biggest shift to hit the auto industry in like 100 years. Cars just aren't mechanical machines anymore. They are complex, powerful, rolling supercomputers.
And you know what? That changes absolutely everything. The new battleground isn't about horsepower anymore. It's about processing power. The real fight is over the car's software, its brain, its operating system. And that's why you're seeing tech giants like Samsung muscling in on what used to be the exclusive turf of car companies. The whole experience of your future car, how it drives, how you talk to it, what it can do, all of that is going to be defined by its code. Which leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? This deal, it's just one move in a much, much bigger game. As our cars become more and more like rolling supercomputers, who is ultimately going to be in the driver's seat? Is it going to be the companies that have built cars for 100 years, or the companies that have built the computers that will now run them? That, right there, is the billion-dollar question this whole deal forces all of us to ask.